When building your SaaS startup, how do you create a successful sales strategy? And who are the people and what are the skills that you need to include in your team? Founding a SaaS company involves more than just building cool tech. It involves teams, skills, group dynamics, and most importantly, a good sales strategy. But whom do you need on your team? And what kinds of skills do you need on your team to have the right set of gifts and talents? I sat down with Michael Stahle, founder and CTO at Aabo. Aabo is a fully integrated CRM and ERP solution for the alarm, home automation, and security camera dealer market. Michael was also CIO at Aabo, a SaaS ERP platform for the retail, entertainment, and restaurant industries with an innovative hardware management gateway. Michael also uses his extensive ERP experience to give back teaching business management solutions at Newmont College of Computer Science. So I want you to listen carefully as Michael describes the roles, and one role in particular, that you need to make your sales strategy successful.
With any ERP in particular, CRM to a lesser extent, but for an ERP build out, it's an industry insider. The reason you want an industry insider, and I know you're probably looking for a technical answer, but in many times in these type of technology ventures, it's all about people. As I'm sure you probably hear that to some extent. Not always just developers, but in this particular instance, the previous ERP that I built out was Aabo, and we did that with Seven Peaks Water Park. So they were an industry insider. They really brought institutional knowledge. They brought an understanding of that demographic customer that I'm trying to target. And they were partners with that venture. So they were the major partner in that venture. And we worked together to create an ERP, CRM for the entertainment industry across the world, actually. We have customers in many of the various states, many different countries, things like that. So with Aabo, I thought to replicate that. This idea was really pitched to me by my brother, and he is in the home automation security industry. He runs a dealer, or helps run a dealer program. He runs the technician side of the house, and he identified a need that both the sales and the technician side of the home automation and security industry were underserved. So for me, identifying that industry insider guarantees that you get the institutional knowledge you need to build a truly useful application for your customer. It also lets you borrow against the trust that industry insider has. So when I partnered with my brother and another series of brothers, the Fife brothers, they are already in that industry. Their names are well known. They have contacts. They have automatic trust build. So whenever you're going to pitch, just like with Aabo, we went and said, oh, well, who are you with? It's very difficult to get that first customer in those first series of customers. If you can borrow trust from the industry insider that you partnered with to build this application, you get your foot in the door. It was very simple for us to start making sales because everybody knew their names, both in the entertainment side and with the Aabo CRM. We already had contacts. They already knew who the major players were. They already knew the major pain points of the industry. So for me, that is the most mission critical thing for any technologist. If they really want to build something out, is get that borrowed trust, get that industry insider information, and you'll be much more successful. Institutional inertia means that you have some very key personnel in every one of your customers' organizations. And these people are used to doing things a certain way. They have these operational procedures that you've got to break them out of because they're old, they're antiquated, or they're not efficient. The CEO, the CTO, the vice president, whoever is purchasing the software knows that it's inefficient. But you've got key personnel within the organization that you really need to target with a message and detailed instructions to how to overcome those institutional processes that they currently have and migrate them to a little bit more efficient, faster, cost-effective, your process, right? So in some instances, it's not a very big inertia. Some people, some of these key people in the back office or the sales managers or these type of individuals, they identify that, I have to go out and do all this work over here to make my process happen. So the institutional insights that insider provides to you allows you to target those, build those out, and then what you do is you either create a kind of a brochure for them or a walkthrough or some kind of descriptive device that educates these people on the advantages of doing it the way you do it. There's going to be some hands-on on here. So when you're doing your onboarding process for these, identifying those people that are the key personnel that may be functioning under that institutional inertia, you target them, you educate them, and you get them a lot of quick wins. Once that happens, a lot of times, as long as the executives see that their dollars are increasing and their costs go down, they don't care. But if they constantly hear from key personnel within the organization say, hey, this is cumbersome, this is cumbersome, this is cumbersome, that makes you less sticky. So you target that institutional inertia with onboarding, education, and training, and you could really overcome that process.
And how do you go about identifying those people? That sounds kind of tricky.
It is very tricky, and it's different for every customer. So over time, at the very, very beginning, you probably don't know who they are. By 3 or 4 sales in, if you have a good onboarding specialist, you capture in your own internal CRM process what job titles and job functions are those key back office personnel. Because operations are really, if you don't keep tight operations, your business falls apart or is less efficient, or you lose a lot of money due to inefficient policies, procedures, or having to throw a lot of manual HR time towards accomplishing whatever those processes happen to be. So at the very beginning, the industry insider can sometimes help you identify those kind of key positions. Oh, payroll. That's one that's eating everybody because they have to go through these complex computations for commissions and come up with what each salesperson or technician needs to be paid. Okay, great. So let's automate, let's target those kind of things, and then show them in maybe an Excel calculator. This is how long it takes it to do now. This is how long you put in. Look at the savings in time. How much are you getting paid per hour? Multiply that in. Look, you did a cost avoidance of X.
So you're starting with the industry insider's knowledge of who the key roles are. And then when you're going into that client, you're identifying who are the people that are in those roles.
Yep.
And from there, getting to know those people and understanding their...
Most of the time that's true, but every organization is slightly different. So that's why you need a good onboarding specialist, somebody who can really talk with that new client of yours and identify those people. Because sometimes you might have a role of, I'm head of payroll, but it's really the back office person who does all the work. So this guy just takes the numbers from the back office and whatnot. So whenever you're doing the training and the onboarding, you want to make sure that you really try to identify those individuals and you train your trainers to collect that information. So you can really educate even your onboarding people to identify, target, and create a message to them so that they're very, very happy to work with you and they see the tactical advantage of your software. What are their skill sets that you really should be targeting? Well, it's probably that process identification, it's probably team building, and also listening to your customer, I think. Now, some non-technical aspects that I think get glossed over with a lot of SaaS solutions out there is the onboarding process, the manual identifying your onboarding team, training them properly, giving them the tools to communicate the benefits of your solution to the customer and all the key personnel to reduce institutional inertia, to reduce confusion, because you're building a larger solution and it's brand new to these people. So really work with your onboarding people. Another non-technical solution or a person that you need to target out there is probably, depending on the way that you structure your company, is somebody that really understands the lay of the land for venture, for talent, for basically everything to do with setting up a new company. And we happen to reside in Silicon Slopes. So there's a couple key personnel, like you probably heard of John Richards and some of the companies out there. He's a great person that you would target, meet with, set up consulting with, have him part of your board, those type of key personnel that really understand how all of this goes together. I was fortunate to deal with John Richards with Aluvi. We targeted who's the best person out there who understands this environment in case we need to go for venture or to consult us on what we keep in-house, what we keep out of house, those kind of things. And probably the third most important non-technical, although you can argue this differently, not technological importance is a lawyer. Setting up your contracts, setting up your HR agreements with your key personnel, largely contracts, and making sure that you structured your contracts in such a way that you can collect and protect yourself from any kind of harm, properly warranting your product.
Join us again. Videos are published every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon Mountain Time.